Jamie Eisner, FanRag Sports, here with Rich McKay of the Atlanta Falcons and the Atlanta Host Committee. As you walk around Tampa Bay and see all these festivities, what is the atmosphere like?
Cool. I mean, it's a championship atmosphere. The one thing about when you play these big games is it's not just the fans from both teams, in this case Clemson's and Alabama's, but it's also all the other people that come to the event and want to come to the site of the event. So the atmosphere is jumping, to say the least, and we look forward certainly to having it in Atlanta next year.
With all the events going on out here, is there anything you think you can maybe cherry pick and bring back to Atlanta next year?
Well, the downtown nature of what they've tried to do here in Tampa is cool. They're doing it with, maybe they have 1,500 hotel rooms, we have 10,000. So that ability to create a centric, an area that'll have Centennial Olympic Park surrounded by a bunch of attractions, all within walking distance of the stadium, that's something that will be really special, which we'll put on display next year.
What will having the game mean to the Atlanta community as a whole?
A lot. So I think these games, people will argue economic impact all the time. Oh, there's this economic. I just look at impressions and the fact of how much Atlanta will be on the forefront. So just look at all the papers, all the media, internationally, nationally. It's just, you cannot buy that type of, quote, publicity. I think from an economic impact standpoint, what's cool is all the people coming from the outside to see our city, and guess what that means? They're going to come back to the city.
And also see a brand new stadium.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium will be one of a kind. I think Arthur Blank's vision for the stadium was to change the stadium game. We're not trying to make a better Georgia Dome. The Georgia Dome's a great building for us, been a great building for the Falcons, great building for college football. What we are trying to do is change the entire game as far as stadiums go, viewing experience, fan experience, food, everything. The iconic design's one thing, the way the building will actually sit and operate is another, and I think when you come next year, I think hopefully you'll call me and say, yeah, you know what, it's a game changer.
And speaking of stadiums, the stadium, Raymond James Stadium, is going to host this game here today. You played a big part in getting that stadium done, and to host these types of big events, to host a Super Bowl, to host a national championship. Is it a little rewarding just personally to see this all come together?
It has been. I think Raymond James Stadium, I remember the negotiations, and they were very confrontational times now here in Tampa, and us selling the dream of what this building could be. And the idea that, yes, it could host the Bucks, yes, it could host USF, but more than that, it could drive Super Bowls, it could drive really big events. The College Football Championship didn't exist then, so it's really cool that it's come to that. I think that you're going to not find people there were a lot of people sitting on the other side of the fence when we were doing Raymond James Stadium saying no. I have to believe, hopefully, we've turned them to at least a maybe or yes.
And last question, now year 3 of the college football playoff, how do you think it's working, and do you think this is the best way to determine a true football champion?
I do. I don't know that I would be one that would ever say you go beyond 4 teams. I think that once you tell fan bases they've got to travel more than a championship game, a semifinal game, and you're asking a lot of them. But I think the system works very well, and I think the idea, I think 2 worked okay. I think this works better because then you don't end up in those big arguments we used to get in of who's number 3. And I do think it's a great build-up to a championship game. I think tonight the atmosphere, when you get into Raymond James Stadium, it'll be crazy.